Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of the show. I'm Joe, and truly, these conversations are the best part of my every single week. Today, we're joined by an exceptional educational leader whose commitment to student success, and we're going to really talk about that, is transforming a New Jersey school district. Please welcome Dr. Al Lewis, Superintendent of Weymouth Township School District. Welcome to the show, Al.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, Joe. I'm super excited to be here today.
Fantastic. I see you all over the place on social. That $1 million smile right there. Yeah, there's a clip right there. You got a lot going on these days. What is it like to be you right now, Al?
Yeah, it's the middle of budget season in New Jersey and in school districts across the nation. So, focus right now is bridging that gap after the COVID funds have dried up now and trying to bridge a fiscally responsible budget for folks so we can continue to take care of our staff, continue to take care of the students, and most importantly, just be of service to our community. We work in partnership with our community, have a great relationship with Town Hall, and we just love serving the folks that are under our care.
I see that splashed all over your website. You're the stage where your community is playing out, I think, their highest values right now.
Yep,
It's
absolutely.
amazing. Yeah, I think you're truly one of the more versatile educational leaders that we've had on the show. And if I could write, as a former school district leader, and I was a principal for a while, and you'd always come out to your car and you'd have, it's like, okay, what did they put on my car this time, right? Can you relate? It's like, what did they write on my car on my dirty back windshield this time?
Yeah,
I
my
would
car's
write.
usually covered in road salt from, driving my daughter around the this tri-state area for hockey,
There it
so, yeah,
is for
there's
hockey.
usually something dirty all over there.
Yes, yes. I would write student champion. That's what I would write on the back
Thank you so
of
much.
of that vehicle. And congratulations for receiving the 2024 National Association of School Superintendents Excellence in Small District Leadership Award. That wasn't like a door prize; it was just given away, was it?
No, it was
That's
really just a
legit.
yeah, in total shock. I texted my wife and told her at the time, I said, I'm speechless. I won. I didn't even know what to say." NASA's been a huge supporter of superintendents across the nation, a really amazing executive group there, great colleagues from across the nation, and, was totally in disbelief that anyone would even know who I was, across our great nation, but let alone be awarded, this prestigious honor. And, I tell folks all the time I'm incredibly blessed to be the superintendent of Weymouth Township School District, and the things that we've done in 3 short years have been nothing short of transformational. And my teachers did everything. They really drove student success. They really bought into our mission and vision that we revamped last year. And for the district to be recognized and for me to play a small part in that, really a highlight of my life. Absolutely
Mm.
incredible.
I love the roll credits, right? You were real quick to just you're pointing to where the work is being done.
Yep.
It, and I once got myself into trouble standing on the stage, brand new superintendent, giving the state of the district address. And this was like my first engagement with the entire team. And I said, we were going through negotiations, and I said, I think there are only really two groups that work here because everybody has different groups and everybody was negotiating against that group. And there are those that are really influencing and serving our students and the rest of us that are supporting them. I said,
Mm,
those are the two groups that we have on this. I about got thrown out by some of the more just cantankerous ones, right?
yeah.
But I see that in you. I see just a spirit of humility. I see a servant leader that is playing the support role. You're playing the guide role to a lot of heroes doing the real work.
Yeah, absolutely. I firmly believe I've been called to a life of service, and I look at leadership as service, both to our community and then to the folks under my care. And like you said, teaching is just so incredibly difficult. It's a very complex job, very nuanced, very individualized for students and classes every year. And, I look at it as my role to support the teachers and keep them humming along. Like if it was a private entity, right? Sales drives profits. You would take care of your salespeople. The teachers drive student learning, and we have to take care of our teachers.
Oh, so aptly put. So aptly put. I came across this thing called the Weymouth Way. Is 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 that just kind of this essence, or is there an objective lens to what that produces, or where that shows up? How would I know if I saw it?
Yeah, so in our district, we're a district-wide class dojo district. So we tied our Weymouth way and the attributes that make us the Hawk. So that's our mascot. And
Heck yeah, love
and
it.
the students can earn points for exhibiting behaviors or meeting expectations of being a hawk. And we categorize them as hardworking, awesome, wise, and kind. And we kind of lump all of those micro behaviors and other expectations into those four characteristics. So, we keep that branding consistent throughout, and everything we do is tied to our mission and vision statement, which includes those like accountability pieces of being a hawk. And we've seen a really, really great turnaround in behavior school wide for us, and we give away prizes. We have a marking period raffle. The first marking period, a student got to pie me in the face in front of the whole school. And second marking period, we anointed a principal for the day. She was our winner. She had the most class dojo points. And third marking period, I think I'm either going to go on the roof or I'm going to get duct taped to something. I haven't decided yet, but I'm going to surprise them with something fun.
Well, you covered, I think, the first 4 in the top 10 of what school leaders have
Yeah.
just endured through, as incentive to students and staff to just be doing the right work. I love the culture, I love the climate, I love your results. That doesn't happen without, like you said, continuous improvement. So, I think even the award pointed out your role in professional development as well. That was one of the core areas. And I believe that you've got to create the conditions first before you can see the achievement. You can't just eat a few bowls of Lucky Charms and expect, or get a good class of test takers to come through. No, no, it's a continuous improvement system that you build. Tell me a little bit about your philosophy, your methodology, and just how that all works into practice there.
Yeah, like you said, the superintendent should embody the district's mission and vision, right? They should set the cultural norms and the cultural experiences for the district. They should ensure that the school community in each school building is a thriving place, a place where people feel empowered to take agency and grow. And then, like you said as well, like set kind of the sandbox for folks to start playing in. And at Weymouth, we've really adopted a mindset of it's okay to fail. It's okay to make mistakes. The goal
Mm,
is to grow and have a growth mindset. And, being more okay with not knowing something and just iterating it until we get it right. And we take that approach with professional development. We try and do a blended approach where, we have some things that are mandated or some things that are tied to our district goals. We brought in Crisis Prevention Institute training district wide, because we heard from our teachers that they felt a need for more training when it came to de-escalation techniques and classroom
mm.
management. And then likewise, we set a district goal of reducing suspensions, but increasing accountability. And, we've accomplished that. We've made great steps there. But, it's been a collaborative effort where we provide some of that training. And then likewise, we tell folks, now you tell us what you want to do and you tell us what your individual professional development goals are and how we can mesh those all together and get you what you need to be successful. Because
So
every teacher is different and they have different needs.
right, right, and the old model of offering, 3 calendar days that say we're going to provide everything, it's
Yeah, it's
what we grew up
impossible.
in. It was
Yeah.
the system that we grew up in, but we have to unlearn and say that professional development actually should be an everyday occurrence, and how do you build systems that truly support that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say all the time there's like two pieces to being a superintendent, right? There's the job, which is, we know we have to offer folks PD and we have to offer them different kinds of infrastructures, but then there's the real work. And sometimes the job gets in the way of the work, but the work is to change lives and grow whole people. And that includes the adults under our care as well. And, we want folks to feel that they can grow and change and evolve. And, we know teachers have to do that if they want to be successful over the continuum of their career. And, we're just real open about that, and myself included, right? I'm a lifelong learner. I just finished, maybe not the end of my academic endeavors, but a milestone for me this past year was earning my doctoral degree. And, I wanted to model that for my own family and for the people under my care that I'm never done learning. There's always this constant growth. And, I often say people are like plants. Plants never really stay the same day after day. They're either growing or they're dying. And I want to keep growing because I'm not ready to wither away and be done yet. So I need to just keep blooming and blossoming and being part of that garden of life, right?
Well, you got a whole windshield of opportunity and learning ahead of you. I think this is the best time. I hear the opposite way too much, and I just call it noise. Oh my God, if we could just go back to actually, I think this is the best time to be leading in education because
Mm.
there are some timeless truths. Don't get me wrong, but there's a roadmap that has not even been. It's cartography, right? That we haven't even begun to map out what might be possible
Yep.
in the next 5 to 10 years in terms of leveling out learning opportunities for students.
Yep. Yeah, if you look at just the global economy, the proliferation of artificial intelligence, all the things that are like kind of like the hot topics right now going across the world and certainly across America. Yeah, we're training kids for a tomorrow that has not really been defined yet. That's both scary but also really exciting that things education definitely moves slowly, right? So the things we've adopted are things that have been adopted already in the private sector. But now I feel like there's this great democratization of education and learning, and AI is a really powerful support for students and teachers to hopefully take away some of that like mundane, like you said, like the tried and true methods that are okay, but they're really not great and they're not going to keep us current with the rest of the world.
Well, partnership with your community is so important, even with that as context, to be walking in pace with your community, to be delivering, yes, what is going to be quite timely and modern and relevant, but also rooted in the very values and the practices that your community needs. Talk to me a little bit. You're operating in a small little community, but you know, all across your Atlantic County there and beyond, you've got a very I think progressive state that you're living in. Talk to me a little bit, or talk to us a little bit about how important partnerships are with your local community and how that has informed what it is you do on a day to day.
Yeah, it's one of the great paradoxes of all types of leaders, especially instructional leaders, right? Is to be a traditioned innovator. And I know we talked about that at our AASA Superintendent's Academy that I just attended. We have to make sure that we respect the local traditions and what's taken place before us, but also then take a step out of that tradition and say, now let's grow and iterate it. And what does it look like for the future? And we have great partnerships in our area, both locally with our mayor and town hall, and then with local agencies like Atlantic Care, which is a regional healthcare network. They provide us with all types of programs for students and support programs for adults and students alike and families. And then our Atlantic County Executive Superintendent of Schools, Leslie White Coursey, is a huge resource to us. Her and her staff, and Devin Blackwell and Lisa Semino and Melissa Jackson, they're there for us. They get us like a resource list of things that we can give out then to families when they're struggling, so we don't have to guess or Google things, and we have that ready for them. And then when we need feedback or guidance on things, and we don't go to Trenton right away, we go to the county office first, and she'll go and be the liaison between us and the New Jersey Department of Ed. And countywide, like you said, Atlantic County is full of incredible superintendents and amazing people who I can call and say, "Hey, I need a support here. Hey, I had this happen. Can you help me?" And just really incredible people like Glenn Robbins and Dave Capuccio and Dan Dooley and Kim Gruccio. Folks I call and say, "Hey, I've never experienced this before. It's only year 3 for me. I'm so new at this. What have you done in the past?"
Yeah.
And they help to kinda, like, give us that collective, wisdom, which is amazing. And then, like you said, New Jersey, and through NJASA, I've met amazing superintendents from across the state, top to bottom, east to west, and, really, really supportive group, people that will work together. There's no competition, there's no ego. Everybody recognizes that we're all dealing with different things in our local communities, including at the county level and our in the greater areas of New Jersey. And they're just there to help you. There's really no judgment. You can go to somebody and say, "Hey, I'm struggling with this," or "Hey, this happened and I'm getting some conflicting feedback," and you can kind of triangulate, which is really special, right? I mean, we all sit kind of alone at the top of each district, and it's hard to get really true feedback sometimes. So I lean on my support network all the time. They've been
Mm.
incredible.
That crystallized leadership is so important at the tippy top, because it's not the practical things that we need advice for. It's really the wisdom of between what's the right thing to do and what's the good thing to do. And sometimes it's like, oh, that kept me
Yep.
awake for the last 2 nights. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
You get the
Absolutely.
Rudy Award, right? You're the smallest district that we've highlighted on the show, but here's the thing. I know that roughly 40% of the school districts in the US reflect your school district's profile. I mean, that's pretty common out there. So my question is so leading a smaller school district, it's provided some very, very unique opportunities for you. And that might not exist if chose to go and lead in a moderate or larger size school district. What do you think the big districts can learn from your experience? Where are they maybe looking at you with a little bit of envy right now?
Yeah, I think part of it, they are very different, right? Large districts, urban districts have very different experiences, especially for their superintendents than small rural districts like Weymouth. And I would say the blessing and the curse of being in a small district, one is you're really close to all the problems, which can be great when you want to solve them right away. You can just go to a few people and say, here's an issue. Here's what I think might help. What do you folks think? And you can kind of make those really quick decisions that just really resolve things right away. The curse though is that it can be hard sometimes to stick to a system because even in a small setting, you need systems so that things are done equitably, things are done fairly.
Right.
Folks have that like reassurance of communication and that they'll be treated the same as others. It can be hard sometimes. There's so many individualized context to it where somebody might say, hey, can we make an exception to this rule because A, B, or C? And you want to be people centered and you want to give folks what they need and treat people individually, of course, and with a lens of empathy. But you also want to hold true and make sure everybody plays by the same rules, for the most part. I would say primarily though, if a large district leader could learn something from a small district leader, and certainly there's a lot I could learn from them, but it would just be to not be too afraid to get too close to folks and have that proximity. And I'm sure when you're dealing with 100,000 students in a countywide school district, it can be really hard sometimes to get close to the problems and really help folks face to face. In a small district like mine, I might go from writing a community letter, something that'll go out to every townsperson, to walking a bus path with a angry parent who wants their bus stop moved. Those are things that they really put me in people's front yards and in their living rooms. And I love that side of it where I can just work directly with families and help them and hopefully help change their day-to-day experiences to make things easier for them.
I think that's where that $1 million smile comes from. You really just enjoy doing what you get to do. It's a privilege. It's a
It is.
privilege.
I
Yes.
often say to everybody in my community that it really has been the honor of my life to serve as their superintendent. Definitely not something I ever thought would occur. Was definitely not on my radar at all as a teacher, even as an administrator. And it truly has been the honor of my life. I do believe I've been called to serve in this role, and it's been really special to me.
Well, keep amplifying that. That's above the noise. That is absolutely. And you played a little hockey back in the day. Okay, we're
Yeah.
let's talk about that, and then we're going to bring this into a landing. Go Profs! Come on,
Yeah, my alma mater, Rowan University. My wife and I,
woohoo!
yeah, my wife Ellen and I are both alum there, and I'm humbled to actually say that today Rowan shared the 2025 College of Education recipient for outstanding achievement for their awards. So just really special. Rowan was there for me at a very turbulent time in my life. I lost my stepfather to cancer while I was an undergrad.
Mm.
And the folks that I was placed under their care and the things they did set me on a path to where I am today. And I'm forever grateful to the brown and gold. And yeah, I was a goaltender for the Profs. I've been a goalie my whole life. I often say it actually reminds me a lot of being a superintendent. I just love that feeling of folks are counting on me to be like the last line of defense and to stop pucks and have that responsibility on my shoulders. And I teased my board in my very first interview with them. They asked me like, "Hey, just tell us just one thing about yourself that you really want us to know." And I told them, I said, "I've been a goalie my whole life, so when I tell you I'm nuts because I'm willing to step in front of a puck." And also, when I tell you I'm pretty good under pressure, I'm pretty good under pressure. I've gotten used to that feeling. And
Oh my goodness.
luckily, they saw the humor in it. And yeah, I love playing hockey. My good friends on my Thursday night skate at the Earl. It's a group of guys I've been skating with for over a year now, and we keep active. And it's good to have that like brotherhood of guys and just be one of the boys. And we have a great time, and I like to stay connected to that. Um, and obviously, my wife supports me in that and is patient with me when I'm off on the ice at some late night skate. She's a good soldier about it. So yeah, hockey's a big part of our life. My daughter's a
Love it.
competitive ice hockey goalie. She plays on a co-ed team and an all-women's team, and I help coach her boys team, and I'm the head coach for her girls team. And hockey's just a really big part of who we are as a family and who we are as people. My daughter, I'm really proud to say, is I think taking up that mantle of she likes having the pressure on her, which is awesome to see in a young woman who's growing up. That's the kind of female leaders that we need going into tomorrow. Is people who are not afraid to say, yeah, everybody's counting on me, and I got this.
Future's bright. Future's
Yeah.
bright there as well. Yeah. You were talking about being a goalie, and all I could think about is just, anytime the superintendent screws up in public, it is kind of like the red light that just, yeah,
Yep.
it's in.
Yep.
Let's change the soundtrack here a little bit. There's a lot going on in education right now, in terms of just things that are bringing leaders fear and uncertainty and sometimes doubt of, am I even in the right position anymore? I deal with that on a daily basis. And that's evolving daily. That landscape, it's evolving daily. And small district leaders play a crucial role in shaping the future of your communities, right? The healthier you are, the better your stock of housing happens to be in your community. And I mean, just legitimate things like that. So we've got a number of educators, administrators tuning in across the country who might be losing their mojo right now and just needing a little pep talk, coach.
Yeah.
So you ready? Just what wisdom would you share with those who are working to maybe create their own paths to impact with optimism during these very, very challenging days?
Yeah, it's funny. It's called me coach, and that always makes me feel alive inside when someone says, "Hey, coach, can you help me with this?" And I would say on our women's hockey team, the Philadelphia Liberties, that's one of our keys to the game. We go through a few things like stopping on loose pucks and stopping on players and playing our position. But then the last one we say is, we can do hard things when we do them together. So to anyone who's listening, if you're not feeling totally enthused, just remember you can do this. You can leverage your support network, and we can do hard things when we work together and we do them together as a team. And I'm certainly available to anyone who needs someone to brainstorm with or just listen to or vent. I get it. I've been in your shoes. There's a lot we could learn from each other and grow together. And of course, just be encouraged because, like you said, we are changing the lives of students every day at a granular level, and we are impacting our communities even when national noise seems to take over the news cycle, the real news of people's lives is their
Mm.
day-to-day experiences. And we're all that stands between them and greatness. And I say all the time, you have to go in every day realizing that the people who are going to change the world are already there. They're already with you,
So
and
good.
teach them like they're going to change the world tomorrow. And that's how we treat every day here in Weymouth. It's a chance for folks to get out of their small rural setting and make decisions that are going to grow and change their lives. And we're just there to help them along the way.
What a bright shining light, sir. Dr. Lewis, thanks for showing up and showing us what visionary, positive leadership, student-centered leadership really, really looks like today. It's been an honor to have you on the show. Thank you so
Uh,
much.
Thank you. The honor's been mine. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, this has been the show reminding you that everyone deserves to live in a community served by healthy leaders like this amazing human that you've just spent some time with. You're going to want to just put this on play and replay. There's a few clips I think that we're just going to burn off of this thing and just throw out into social for the next 10 years. Very, very important stuff. Hey, before we wrap up, if today's conversation just about student-centered leadership resonated at all with you, hit that like button, leave a comment, share the episode. If you know somebody that just needs to just have that little pep talk, share it with a friend and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring conversations with educational leaders. Until next time, this is Dr. Joe on purpose to cancel all things average. Peace and press on, friends. Boom.
That was awesome. Thank you so much for having
Wasn't
me.
that fun?
That was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I tell you what, I stepped out. I stepped out